Good day, my name is TI Fourie and I'm a secondary school maths teacher. My chosen area for developing teaching practice will focus on instructional strategies, discussing how cognitive science such as cognitive load theory and scaffolding method align, as well as evaluating if students are able to retain and recall information. A brief overview of scaffolding and cognitive load theory. Scaffolding involves providing temporary support to learners to help them achieve tasks they might not be able to complete independently. The support is gradually removed as learners become more proficient. Cognitive load theory was developed by John Sweller, an Australian educational psychologist in the mid-1980s. His work focuses on understanding how the human brain processes information and how instructional design can be optimized to enhance learning by managing cognitive load. According to Sweller's cognitive load theory framework, it can be broken down into three groups, namely the intrinsic load, the inherent difficulty of the material; the extraneous load, the way information is presented, which can either help or hinder learning; and the germane load, the mental effort required to process and understand the material. To explain how scaffolding aligns with cognitive load theory, we summarize it as follows. You're looking to reduce, manage, and enhance. Now, scaffolding helps reduce extraneous load by breaking down complex tasks into smaller, manageable steps. This allows the focus on understanding the material rather than struggling with how it is presented. Scaffolding can help manage intrinsic load by providing clear instructional examples, making complex concepts more accessible. This is particularly useful in subjects like mathematics. By guiding learners through problem-solving processes and encouraging active engagement, scaffolding enhances germane load. This helps learners develop a deeper understanding and a long-term retention of material. In an article by Bob Pritchett, he lays out how worked examples provide students with a structured, completed example of how to complete a task. He also emphasizes that students should be allowed a chance to explore and understand a strategy before putting it into action themselves. There's also a focus on the way worked examples are used as additional scaffolding to guide students on their journey to independence. For my study, I was having to teach the normal distribution to a group of Year 12 core math students. None of my students would have encountered the normal distribution before. Now, the intrinsic load of this chapter presents a significant level of difficulty. A good starting point would be to look at how the work is presented. Now, you can agree that the PowerPoint presentation is overloaded with dense text, excessive data, and numerous complex visuals, making it overwhelming and difficult to follow. You have to consider reducing the extraneous load, how work is presented, in order not to hinder students' learning. Now, these are some of the principles that is used to support students in this process. Making use of well-planned, worked examples to reduce cognitive load and provide clear guidance. Scaffolding is intended to be temporary. With the use of mini whiteboards as an assessment for learning strategy, you could gradually remove the support as learners gain confidence and competence, fading out as you go along. The use of cues and chunking information help manage cognitive load and improve learning efficiency. This is an example of how these strategies were implemented during this period of study, and it made a measurable impact on the learning the students had and its effectiveness. Here we have an example of writing and understanding the notation used for the normal distribution. The use of many whiteboards in lesson created a dynamic and interactive learning environment that supports continuous assessment and feedback. This is a good example of presenting information in small, manageable chunks by reducing content in order to enhance students' understanding. The use of the mini whiteboards has an added benefit of regular checks and understanding. It also helped to identify and address misconceptions before they hinder learning, managing their cognitive load. According to research by Pritchett, an awareness of confidence and competency of your pupils are vital. As mentioned previously, scaffolding is also intended to be temporary and needs to be gradually removed. Providing guidance during practice ensures that students are correctly applying new knowledge, which helps reinforce learning. The most challenging aspect of using mini whiteboards in lesson is setting clear boundaries to avoid doodling, rubbing out of worked solutions too quickly, and behavior management. Make sure that clear expectations is set prior to using mini whiteboards. In time, the use of mini whiteboards will become part of expected classroom culture. Cognitive load theory, aligned with scaffolding, are complementary educational strategies that enhance learning. The nature of responsive teaching with the use of mini whiteboards encourage active engagement for both student and teacher. As a complementary teaching strategy, the use of mini whiteboards for AFL also gives the educator an effective indication of when to gradually remove the support as learners become more proficient. You don't want students to rely too heavily on scaffolding, as this might hinder independent practice. In summary, the blend of cognitive load theory, scaffolding, and AFL made a measurable difference to students' deeper understanding of the normal distribution. As Swiller puts it in his research, learning requires a change in the schematic structure of long-term memory and is demonstrated by performance that progress from clumsy, error-prone, slow and difficult to smooth and effortless. Thank you for listening.